Welcome back, everybody, to Bout Du Monde. I thought that I would show you a cool mod that I will be using on the West Coast. It is called the Farming Tablet mod. You have to buy a... Okay, so yeah, we must be in an area where... Okay, well, I thought this was going to be easy. Okay, so let's just do it right there. So anyway, you have to buy that station. It's a charging station, just like real life, the mod says. Tablets don't last forever, and you have to charge them. So occasionally, this tablet the battery will run out, and you'll have to put it back on the charger, like that, with the Q button. Here, the menu would help there, maybe. So you can take it off the charger from the Q. Anyway, to use it, it looks like the default controls are Control Z. And then you go in here to the App Store, and you can buy... It's got a few other apps, but the factory script and the multiple silo script is not really applicable on this map, nor the West Coast. So I am really excited about this horse one, though, because if you open it up, look at this. It has the acreage and the purchase value of every single field, and then as well as the seed usage and the fertilizer usage. You know, this liters per second. So with this, you can calculate... roughly, maybe if you forget the rough fertilizer usage on a field. But this is handy because I mentioned I really want to track my statistics better on the West Coast map, similar to how a real farm works. And so if I forget to write down, how many liters of wheat did I put on that field, well, this will give me a really good idea. And also, it allows me to look at the purchase price without having to, because the purchase price disappears once you buy the field, right? So it's a really easy way to look at the acreage and the purchase value. And then again, if I forget to write this value down, the amount of seed, to calculate my input costs, if I forget to write that down, I can just use these values too. But however, I will try to look at the fertilizer values before and after in each field. But this will really make the job a lot easier, I think, for organization. Look at this. I mean, that's awesome. Like, I don't know. I'm a little bit speechless, but it's pretty cool because you can look at, so say I'm going over to, field 11. I can look at, okay, well, if I'm going to do soybeans, I have to have this many liters of soybeans in there. And I did verify, and this is what's awesome. I verified to make sure that this takes the numbers from the map. So it takes the numbers... Well, maybe not necessarily the map, but it takes the numbers currently loaded into the game, which means it works with the more realistic mod. Because these values are the realistic values. The default, in the default game, corn is a higher seeding rate per acre than soybeans, and that is ridiculously stupid, unrealistic. Corn, yeah, I mean, it's about like that in real life. These are pretty good values that Dural has used. Anyway, let's end that. Don't freak out. I know I'm teleporting. I know I used the no teleport mod, but I am trying to get Courseplay working, and I thought we would test it out a little bit while we are still here on the Bout Du Monde. I think I have an idea that will work, so I really want to test it out to see that it does work. Okay, so we have the head hooked up. Yeah, anyway, so I disabled the no teleport mod just for a little bit while we, in case we have any problems with our Courseplay tractor, it'll allow us to easily switch to that tractor to figure out what the problem is. I already tested the map. I already tested the course, and I think that it is a good course, so we should not have any problems. But, you know what? I wanted to do that just in case. So, if you're noticing, it is later in the day. It is late afternoon. That is because... just a second, make sure I don't hit anything. That is because it rained overnight. I don't know if you remember, there was rain in the forecast from the previous day. And yeah, so we had to wait a while for the crops to dry out. You did not miss anything. I might actually have to pull my trailer ahead a little bit. No, I think we got it. Right? I don't know, depth, it's so much easier to perceive depth in real life. Anyway, let's start there. We'll make sure our auger is in. Yep. And in real life, you could just look in that mirror and see if your auger's in, or crunch, kind of scooch down a little bit and look out the window. But it's a little bit harder in this game. Anyway, let's cut our end rows and get our end rows ready, and then we will set our Courseplay tractor up. As I was saying, I think I figured out a way to make it work without driving over crops and still actually unload the combine. If I remember how I did it, I'm trying to remember how I did things in 15. And unless they changed things drastically, in FS15, I was able to set it, and I think I have it with these settings. So, like, I set it to, you know, that tractor, Fritz back there. I set him to, hey, unload the combine when you detect the combine is at 90%. Well, or say 100%. So what I would do is I would, instead of waiting for that level, because then he could automatically, you know, like he could come around to the left side of me and drive over crops. So instead of waiting for that, I set that at, I think, 100, and I'm going to manually call him whenever he is like, well, you'll see what I'm doing. We're going to work from this side of the field, and he is going to wait over here on this side of the field, the south side of the field, I believe. So with that, 1 second while I turn around, make sure we don't back into a fence. So with that, he is going to wait on this side of the field, and then I will just extend the auger and manually call him when he is, you know, when the auger is here on the south side of the field. So that way, he'll automatically come to me. He shouldn't drive over any crops, hopefully, and he should kind of wait over here on the south side of the field as the field progresses. So that is the plan anyway. I haven't tested it out, obviously. I mean, if it doesn't work, it's going to be ugly, and I really didn't want to do that on camera, but also, if it does work, then either I would have to, like, exit out of the game unsaving and do everything all over again, or, you know, just skip that part of the footage. So I didn't want to put you know, I didn't want to put you guys in a position where you would be missing a lot of footage in case it did work, and I also didn't want to have to redo everything that I just did. So we're kind of testing this live. I hope you guys don't mind. Let's just, I guess we could turn around there and head back. Yeah, let's just do that to make it a little bit more even on this side. And then I think it should be roughly about a full pass heading backwards. So let's do that. All right. So we got a little bit more room. Try not to hit those rocks behind me. And we'll lower because I think the right side is just about in. Yep, there we go. And here we go. Slow down a little bit. Try to chug up this hill. Yeah, and this is something else that I haven't mentioned about real life. The real speed, actually, I mean, even on our older combine, the real speed changes actually based on the ground speed of the combine. So if you stop, the reel slows down and it almost doesn't move at all. Because you don't want to be sitting here and, like, the reel would actually be, you know, touching those crops right in front of the combine that have not been cut yet, and it would basically be stripping the, you know, the wheat or the soybeans right off the crop. It's especially when it's really dry and brittle. So that's not good, especially soybeans. Like I say, I can only attest to soybeans. I don't know about wheat in real life, but I would assume that there are many similarities. So let's get this path harvested. I think we'll do one more over there on the end road just to give ourselves plenty of room to turn around. And then maybe we should try to test out the... You know what? Maybe I should try testing it out now, but I don't know. No, we'll open things up a little bit more first. We might be pretty full by the time we call over Fritz, but I think that will just have to do. So it's getting late in the day. Hopefully we can finish this field in time. I might actually change, I'm thinking about changing the field of view so you can see a little bit more of this head from both sides without having to, you know, turn the camera, but I don't know. Well, whoa, I did not mean to accelerate that. I do have a pedal, but sometimes with the more realistic mod, I've just noticed that things accelerate a little bit too fast. So, okay, so now we can go down the hill. I think we'll do one more pass on the way up, and then we'll basically be able to set up Hey, honey. Let's hop out here and get this set up. So we're going to turn on Fritz. And if I do this correctly, so we are going to load the one course that I have. And we will turn off. Yeah, I don't think we want those. Yeah, okay. So we don't need the start and end points. And he's going to drive the course. And he should automatically stop because, hold on. I have him set to, yeah, so he's only going to start unloading the combine at 100. And then he's going to drive on when his wagon is 90% full. So I also, if I remember this correctly, I can, yeah, that's right. So I can request a driver when he gets over there. And when I turn around, actually, we can see right now, you can see that he's going to go down that hill and make a U-turn, kind of, whoops. That's what I get for talking and driving. Not the greatest at that. But he should be coming up there along that hill and along the edge of the field. And as soon as he pulls into the field, I should be able to request him. But I don't want to do that just yet. We're going to get the rest of this real quick. And actually, I think it'll be easier if I just back up here instead of trying to turn around. It's short enough, so let's just back up. So now if I right-click, I should be able to request that driver, and he should come to me. I think that's all I have to do. I believe so. Yeah, but for now, let's get rid of that because we don't want to request him yet. And we'll just do one more end row. Maybe we should only do half an end row. Just, well, do we even need to do that? I don't think we do. Okay, you know what? This is going to be a little ugly. We are going to drive all the way over to the... I just don't want to have to come back full. I don't want to have to get... Well, no, I'm only at 50%. I should not fill up by the time I get to that other side of the field. So we should be good to do this. I'm sorry I'm so indecisive, guys. One of these days I'm going to have to explain why I am so indecisive, and it is all the Navy's fault. But for now, you're just going to have to wonder about that story. So we are at 50%. Yeah, I should definitely be able to make this without any problems. Take a nice, good old look at Fritzy there. Good old Fritz. He's been a good tractor. You know, and that's actually a guy. What? When I was testing it out, it was a girl, and I wish... I mean, I'm not trying to be sexist here, but my brother is a guy. So, to be able to roleplay, and, I'm sure I'm not the only person with this request, but I'd like to be able to have my brother driving the tractor or the combine just like he does in real life. And, my sister doesn't help out in the farm in real life. She just doesn't. That's a fact. So I wish you could actually choose instead of just assigning a random helper. And I don't know why, but it seems to almost always be female instead of a male. That's actually the only time I've ever seen a male helper. Granted, I rarely use helpers, but still, it's kind of crazy. Okay, so here is the plan. We're going to turn around, and then when we get over closer maybe a little bit past him so he doesn't think he has to do a U-turn into the field, we're gonna call the helper. And we're gonna open this up probably a little bit in the future, but for now, I'm just gonna do a big U-turn. We'll probably cut along there to do a couple end rows at some point, but right now, that's how we're gonna leave it. So we will, that's probably good enough. I'll head in there. And there we go. Whoa, it just accelerates a little bit too fast. All right. I'm actually using my joystick on my side console for my head, head movement, and I think it's a lot smoother. It's a lot nicer when I have the wheel. So I hope that makes you guys a little bit less seasick. I got the idea from watching Stimulate Gaming over on his channel. He has a wheel cam. If you haven't seen his channel, check it out. He's actually got some good stuff over there. Anyway, that's where I got the idea from him for using the joystick for the view with the wheel. For those of you who don't play with the wheel, the problem is when you're turning, right? Like you're turning the wheel, you know, there is like a little joystick analog control on the wheel, kind of like a Xbox 360 controller joysticks, but I mean, you can't really move those around when you're spinning the wheel around 900 or 1080 degrees or however many turns it takes to, what, 2.5 turns, 3 turns? You know, you're spinning the wheel like a madman, but when you go around curves, but obviously you also want to look at where you're turning. So you can't do that when you're spinning the wheel so easy. So I hope that solves my problem. So before I get too much higher, okay, so let's just get a little bit past them, and let's see how this works. So if I go, and which one's my auger? There's my auger. So let's see what happens. We're going to request, if I can click on it, request driver. Okay, there we go. And please don't drive on the field. Oh, he's gonna do it! Okay. It's almost like he knew the crops were there and he tried to cut it short. So in the future, I think we might have to do it a little bit sooner, or maybe a little bit later. I don't know why he felt he had to take that route. All right, so let's start dumping. We'll just wait here. We'll just go to the end, actually. All right, so now let's see what happens when to make it easier, you know what, maybe let's test it out next time. Okay, so let's send driver home. So it looks like he is recognizing, nope. Oh man, what happened? Why did you go that far? Why did you go that route? I mean, that's not the field. You think he would know where the edge of the field is? I don't know why he did that. I don't know. But anyway, if I do that, will that work? No, I think he thinks he's going. Okay, sorry guys. Yeah, I'm not sure if this will work out the best. Maybe this mode will really only work on bigger fields. Okay, so if I drive course now, that is what I should want. There we go. Okay. So he should wait for me now. Yeah, and like I said, I'm not sure the best way to do that, but I'm not sure why I still don't get that, why he hit the fence. Are you kidding? Is he slipping? Not using all-wheel drive. Oh, yeah, that's why. Okay, so that is a setting always use four-wheel drive. There we go. And so now he is waiting for the combine again. So I think maybe if we had more room, that wouldn't happen. So I don't know. Maybe we should just actually dump on him at the very beginning until we get more room. I think that's okay. That's the best way to do it. We'll dump on him until we get more room for him to turn around, and then we will be able to request him like normal. I think that's the best plan to do. Okay. So let's do that then. Okay, let's get back on track. Should we switch to inside the cab? Let's switch to inside the cab. Okay. All right, and here we go. So, I still don't know why we ran into the wall. I still don't get it. I'm thinking maybe the path, the starting point over there is too close to the edge. Or what might be happening is it takes the, it like goes back and finds, you know, so like here's the end point. We are going to backtrack for the last 10 or 20 points, and then it's going to follow that path to the start point. So if that's what it's trying to do, then it makes sense why it's hitting the wall, because I have, you know, the return path from the tip point is right next to the fence there. So if it's trying to latch that from a 90-degree angle on the field, latch onto that path, well, then it makes sense why it's hitting the wall. So we'll have to experiment around a little bit with that in the future. But I think, yeah, I think for now, when we get to the other end of the field, we will call him and see how he responds, how Fritz responds when he has to turn coming back this way and do kind of like a big, long S-curve to me. So hopefully he won't turn into the crop again like he did last time, but you know, it's all part of the learning process. But I think we got it down pretty well, actually. So I mean, I can actually have him coming to me instead of just waiting on the edge of the field and me having to dump on him, you know, because that's kind of unrealistic as well. So I think that's a pretty good, oops, why didn't the head go up? I guess I didn't hit the button hard enough. All right. So let's just do a couple of the end rows now. I think that's the, yeah. Okay, so there we go. And should I do one or two over here? There is a lot of grass to turn around on, but it does look, that looks kind of steep. It kind of seems to take a jump off the field on an upward slope. So I think maybe we'll do two of these passes over here on this side. And I think that's probably, yeah, that's probably what we'll do. Two passes. Okay. So I can either back up here or try to turn in. You know what? Let's just turn a little bit here, and we'll cut along the fence just a little bit, just enough to give us some turning room, and then we'll cut back in and head to the, what is that, the south? Yeah, that's the south. So head along the fence just a little bit, enough to get us some breathing room. I think maybe that should be good. And let's double check the mirror. Don't want to back into a fence. Don't want to run over the crop. Fence. And we should be clear. Yeah. Okay. So, actually, should we do two? Yeah, I think we'll need to do two. I'm trying to, if you weren't watching last episode, at one point in there I talked about how you don't want to try to turn too sharp when you're actually cutting, because if you imagine the snout, it'll push over the edges of the crops. No, that was 2 episodes ago. That wasn't just 1 episode ago. Anyway, yeah, if you imagine that snout, like if you're taking a sharp left turn, that snout over there in front of the cutting head, it'll actually push the crops over to the, you know, on the side, and you won't be able to get them up again. So you try to go in as straight of an angle as possible. Sometimes you can't avoid a little bit of an angle, but like that much of an angle is probably okay in real life. All right, and let's call it like this, and then we'll cut again. We'll call in Fritz as soon as we get started there a little bit. So Yeah. I guess, you know, was it last episode or 2 episodes ago? I think it was last episode. I talked about unloading on the fly, and I realized that I may not have actually explained what unloading on the fly meant. So instead, we'll actually show you a good example of unloading on the fly, and, you know, we typically stop in real life instead of doing this, but it doesn't really put that much strain on the equipment, but honestly, it's what a mechanic told Dad, and that's what Dad likes to do, so we try to respect Dad because he still does own all the equipment. That's what Dad wants to do. That's the way we'll drive his combine. So here we go. Let's wait till we get up the hill just a little bit more. Well, I guess we can call Fritz now. Let's see how Fritz does when it's a little bit tighter. So we'll head on over to request driver, and watch it. Let's get out there a little bit. There we go. Let's watch Fritz. Good old Fritzy. All right, well, he didn't run over anything. That's always a good thing. All right, look at that. Perfect timing. All right, let's unload. So this is unloading on the fly. Well, for one, it kind of hurts the combine a little bit because the combine has to put extra power in unloading, you know, turning the unloading auger on. There's an auger over, obviously the auger on the side, and then there's also augers underneath that grain to kind of get the grain over to the actual auger. So there's augers in the grain tank, and there's augers right there. It takes a lot of extra, well, I don't know how much is a lot, but it does take extra horsepower, and it means you typically have to slow down the combine, else the combine does not do as good of a job. So 1 second here, let's stop driver, and I don't want to send him home because I think he'll hit the fence again, but if I stop him there, he's at 69%. At 80, he runs to the store. So we'll make one more pass maybe and see if he fills up. See if that gets him. Okay, so let's switch back to inside the cab. And one thing I am curious about, so like if he's in a position where he's at now, and I call him to the combine at the other end of the field, is he going to want to turn? Which way is he going to want to turn to get me? Will he turn right, his right, and cut into the wheat, or will he turn left? I don't know. That's something that we can definitely find out. All right. The yield on this wheat is very good. We are having excellent yield. I never finished my unloading on the fly thought. So that's unloading on the fly. Yeah, it takes extra horsepower, so you have to slow down the combine, so otherwise the combine doesn't do as good of a job, especially for older combines. You know, I'm sure if you get the biggest and the best combine that costs $800,000, I'm sure it has enough horsepower to keep running along the field at, I don't know how fast they can pick corn at, probably 5 miles an hour, maybe 6, and not have any problems. I don't know. We typically have to pick corn around 3 miles an hour with our combine. Anyway, so it takes a lot of extra power for us, and also when you go to restart, I kind of already explained this before, but when you go to restart, you get extra grain in that auger, and it just takes a lot of extra torque to start it up. So since the grain tank never empties, obviously, because you're always putting grain into it, because you're not stopping, you're still harvesting, you're unloading while you're harvesting, i.e. unloading on the fly. You know, so there's always going to be grain in the auger, there's always going to be grain in the grain tank that you are trying to empty, and when you stop that auger, it just takes that much more torque to start again with grain in that auger. So, like I said, that's why we don't do it in real life, but yeah, I think I've talked about that enough. So let's just continue on harvesting. I just realized that I didn't explain what I meant very well last episode. You know, by when I talked about unloading on the fly. So should we call him now and see what happens? Let's try calling him now. So do we? Oh, so he's already called. That's right. We never sent him home. So if we just hit start driver, and he's gonna turn into the. Oh, okay. He's turning into the wheat. Is he, or did he turn around? Kind of looks like he. Is he stuck on a tree? What in the world? Bus driver. What is he doing? I think he's in trouble. Yeah, he tried. He's not very smart over there. Okay, so I think. I don't know. Can we send him home? Well, it looks like in the future we're going to have to do one of two things. Either we'll set it along the side of the field and just dump, and it'll have a set route. He doesn't move, he doesn't come to me. Or we give him a little bit more room along the edge of the field there where we can actually send him home, so that way he doesn't run into the fence. I think that's probably what we'll have to do in the future. So let's hop out, actually, and we'll just, whoops. That was a mistake. You never want to turn off the combine when the separator's engaged, especially when there's crops going through it. That was a bad reflex. All right, so stop driver. Yeah, oh boy. What is he stuck on now? Stuck on the fence? Stuck on something? Oh, goodness. Fritz, what did you do? Oh, goodness. Okay, so let's just try filling up. And then I will probably have him, I'll probably just send him on his way. Oh, yeah. This was not on because I turned it off stupidly. Okay. Okay. There we go. Alright, so is that going to be enough? That'll put him over 80. I think I had him going at 80. Let's just take a look. So, drive course at 80%. Yeah, so he should take this now. Automatically. Let's see what he does. He might not, because... what happens if I stop the driver? Do I send him home? Oh boy. What is going through your head, driver? Were you even... oh, that's right. He wasn't on the course. So let's put drive course at nearest waypoint. We'll put him up here. And the nearest waypoint should, if I put him on the inside path, this should take him to the store and back. Okay, so let's try that out. Why is he going up here? It's up to the nearest waypoint. Okay, well, let's just see where he goes. This is interesting. Oh, I get it now. It thinks that this is the road, so it's trying to turn onto the road. Okay. So here, maybe this will make it easier for you guys. Okay, so I don't know if you're interested or not, but here we go. Here is the route that I am having him do, right? So it thinks that it needs to exit the field. I guess maybe because it counts for hedgerows. So when I send it home, it's trying to go over here. And then when I tell it to go to the nearest waypoint, I think it was trying to go to this point to exit the field, and then it was going to drive. I think that was the problem. So if I just hit drive course, no, I think it, yeah. See, again, it thinks it's on the other side. So, yeah, right there. You see how it was on point 411? Yeah, that's the return path. So we need to get it on the... We need to get it on the entrance. Okay, so the nearest waypoint should be right there, number 2. Okay, so that should be good now. There we go. We got to figure it out, guys. Sorry for the growing pains. Like I said, I normally would experiment off screen, but in case it worked out, I didn't want to have to do all of this again. Okay, bye, Fritz. Goodbye, brother. Goodbye. Okay. Let's get back on and get going. Whoops. Wrong one. I did not... I'm hitting all kinds of buttons I did not mean to hit. Okay. You know what? Let's see if we can see Fritz zooming off into the sunset. That might be a little bit too big of a wagon for Fritz. It'll be interesting to look at his speed when he is transporting that with a full load. So right now it is 21. That's actually a pretty good clip. We'll have to make sure he makes it up the hill, so that'll be exciting. Why can't I turn? I accidentally hit higher. Wow. I am really hitting all kinds of buttons that I didn't mean to hit. Okay. Yeah, we don't want hired help. Especially when I'm sitting next to the hired help, driving the combine with them. Okay. We got this, guys. Sorry for those growing pains. I think it will make the West Coast much more enjoyable to have some Courseplay figured out when we get there. So, I do appreciate you. Ugh, come on, turn left. Turn left, Bessie. We're a little bit, oh man. That was a tough turn. We were slipping down there a little bit. All right, we're getting this field harvested, and one thing we didn't check is if the cornfields matured overnight. Well, you know, I should probably roleplay a little bit more because cornfields don't mature overnight in real life. We could say that I wonder if the cornfields are ready by now, since it is fall. That's a little better. Okay, we will get the head raised there. Oh, goodness, I am just... Okay, we'll figure out these buttons eventually, guys. All right. Do a nice little U-turn here with Bessie, and we'll get back on our way. All right, let's put out our auger for Fritzy. And, yep, okay. Just making sure I was not pressing the wrong button. Okay. We got it. We got this. And I forgot to look at Fritz, but so far he is doing well transporting wheat. I guess, you know, one thing, I checked the route, but I didn't actually check to make sure that Fritz... Uh-oh, he stopped. What's he stopping for? Oh, he's dumping the wheat! We are making money. Whoops. Wrong one. We're making... All right, we got $6 grand for that. That is excellent. We got some money, guys. And Fritz should be on his way back. So this is also a good metric for about how fast we can fill up the combine when Fritz is gone. And I don't think we should have to stop. But we do have to remember not to get up to 100%. Otherwise, Fritz will try to find his way over any kinds of wheat and or obstacle to get to us. So that's something to remember. I think, so lessons learned with Courseplay. Make sure there's more room next to the fence before you try to send Fritz home, you know, for the stop point. So just put it inside the field a little bit more. And make sure he is on an edge of the field with the long rows. So right now he's like in the middle with respect to the long rows. I want to put him either on this side of the long rows or on the other side of the long rows. I think that'll make things a lot easier. And, well, okay, so I was thinking maybe let's do that. We'll put the auger back in, and let's do along this edge, and then we can cut right alongside the other edge on the way back, and Fritz should be back by then, so we should be able to call him on our way back on the other side. That's why I'm doing this side. And then you also notice I put in the auger because I don't want to smash it. Okay, here we go. Climbing up this hill. Let's exit on the outside and get a good little shot there of Bessie climbing up the hill. Oh, and there comes Fritz. That was actually a pretty quick trip. All right. Definitely not going to have a problem. Although, actually, if we were doing corn, we may have had to stop by now. But we're not doing corn. Here you'll be able to see the path that Fritz takes. He's going all the way up there alongside the edge. And I think that was also part of my problem. I probably should have started on this side of the field, right? And just put his start-stop points down there. Opened up that side of the field a little bit more. I think that's what I should have done. But it's a learning time. Actually, to make things easier, can I fit all of this on the combine? I think I could actually fit all of this on the combine before I have to dump. And this is my last wheat field, so I think that's probably a good plan. And then we basically just have to figure out whether or not we're setting up for soybeans or corn, because those are the only fields I have left. I think we'll probably just do soybeans since we already have the cutting head on. We'll just set up for soybeans. So I'm not sure if we will do any of that in this episode. We'll have to just take a look at, see how long this episode. I don't think so. I think we'll probably, you know what, it's also getting late at night, and with the rain that happened yesterday, even though it dried off enough to be able to harvest, I think that we'll say that there's lots of dew in the air, and we're gonna have to stop harvesting a little bit early for the night. So we'll probably call it after this field gets done. I think that's probably what we'll have to do. Let's see. I think we will, instead of going straight, I think we'll just curve. And should we call Fritz or not? You know what? I think it might be easier if we just leave Fritz over there. I'll go dump. No, I don't know. I'm so indecisive. Let's just call him one more time from this side, because I don't think... Yeah, this is where he ran into the crop because he tried to take a weird path to me. So, sorry about that. What did I just do? I pressed some combination that switched me to the desktop. I'll have to remember what that was so I don't do that again. Okay, so let's request driver right now and see what he does. He runs straight into the fence. Yeah, what the... Why? Why would you... It's like he's trying to take... But why though? You can just turn into the field. You don't need to go that route. I don't understand. Okay, stop it. Wow. That's just, I don't know, why would he... I mean, I understand he's trying to take a wide turn so he can come back like this and snake to me, but he doesn't need to turn left for that. He has plenty of room. I don't know. If anybody knows why Fritz turned left into the wall like that, you could really help me out by explaining that to me. All right, let's climb up the ladder. Let's unload. All right. So I think we're gonna stop driver and just leave him there, and we'll send him on his way when he gets full. You know what? While we're unloading, let's look at what else we have. So we have soybeans in 23 and 27. That's basically a joint field together with a little grass strip in the middle. And that's all the soybeans. The rest is corn. Oh boy, we're going to have fun harvesting corn. Let's just double check. So harvested. Yeah, so that's all the fields that we have left. The harvest is going pretty fast, guys. I might do some kind of time lapse there on the soybeans. I don't know. The corn is pretty interesting, and we will probably do that live, at least most of it live. So let's just hop back in here inside and do one last pass. I think, let's see, what was it? It's something to do. Oh, don't want to back into Fritz. That's why you always look in your mirrors. I think the clicking to desktop has something to do with if I'm like pressing Alt or something like that, or Control, and then I also right click. It seems to want to crash to, or not crash to. It's like it Alt tabs to a different window, but it's not an Alt tab. I don't know. I'll have to figure that one out. So hopefully that didn't cause too much of a inconvenience for you guys. Let's get, this is the last time we'll be harvesting this field. Let's get an outside look here. And I don't know. Let's see if we can get a good shot here. Maybe unloading on the other side? I don't know. Where would a good shot be? That's a pretty good shot. Maybe if we can get between those two big trees there on the end. See things in the distance. And that might work. Alright. How about we just swing around and we get the last of that? We had such big plans for this field. We were gonna, in the winter, we were gonna cut down all those trees and combine these two fields and buy that other field. But you know what? I shouldn't be complaining because our uncle dying over in the West Coast and giving us a couple of fields, that'll be a great, you know, that's a good opportunity. Not a lot of guys get something like that, so I think we should be thankful instead of being sad that we have to move away from France. But it is always bittersweet. That's a fairly good view, actually. And why aren't I turning to the right? My goodness. I was trying to steer to the right there, but it just kept on slipping. All right, well, kind of, I guess something to do with an awkward angle on the hill. And we'll turn in there. There we go. And let's see, maybe that view, that view, that view. I don't want to get the, I guess I could get the back end. Maybe that's a good view. I don't know. I'm not the greatest at taking screenshots. Oh, almost missing the edge of the trailer there. Are we empty? We are empty. That is all she has. All right, well, let's send you on your way now. So we're going to have to get Courseplay back and drive course at not the current waypoint. I want the nearest waypoint. So let's go. Which way is out? All right, so this way should be out. Let's start there. So drive course at the nearest waypoint. Drive now. And you're not going. Why aren't you going? I'm telling you to drive. Drive. There we go. That was weird. Oh well. Alright. Let's get this head on the trailer and get out of here. And then we will take brother over to... Oh, come... What? How are you... Excuse me, guys. Sorry for this. What are you... Are you trying to turn into the field? Why would you do that? The nearest way... Oh, you were trying to go to waypoint number 2? Why, though? The nearest waypoint. Okay, so this should be the nearest waypoint. Drive course. No. Stop. Nearest waypoint. Alright, Fritz is on the way. I basically just had to exit that course and load it again, and then it worked fine loading from the nearest waypoint. So, sorry about that. Okay, so let's get going. Let's get down here, and we will load this up and switch over to a bean field while we still have light left in the day. Then we'll probably take Fritz home. And yeah, we'll probably take Fritz home from there just so we can go to sleep in our bed. All right, so is that? It's actually pretty good. No, it's a little too far forward, maybe. Let's try to get it centered a little bit more. Oh boy. Now these... And it seems like you can never lift your head high enough. Okay. There we go. That's a little bit better. We just about need the bigger header trailer for this one. It's almost... Actually, I think we do need the bigger header trailer. This one just isn't doing it. Now, why isn't that disconnecting? What? Yeah. I can't. Oh my goodness. What is wrong now? Are you... I wasn't close enough? Oh. Okay. Alright, so I decided to head straight away over to the soybean field, and as you can see for yourself, these crops are not ready to harvest yet. Mistakenly, I confused, you know, we're on 9-day seasons, and that's every 3 days is a growth stage. I confused that, thinking that it would grow at between night 8 and 9, so I don't know why I thought that, but it's actually between 9 and 10 is a growth stage, right? Because we're on the 3rd day now. The growth stage does not appear until the end of the 3rd day, which is tonight. So, yeah, that was a mistake by me, and I'm trying to figure out a flat place to put this head so that I can get it easily without backing into some crops. I think that we'll just, if I crank it a little bit more like that, I think that is what we want. And then that should give me enough room to get in and out. And I think that's flat enough. Yeah, that should be good. On the West Coast, since we have a pickup truck, we'll actually be able to pull the head trailer with a pickup and drive the combine and the tractor there. And that could actually simulate in real life, like my mom bringing us out to the field, helping us switch fields, you know, with an extra vehicle, or, you know, bringing us lunch, and then also picking us up at the end of the day in the pickup truck. So we can actually take the pickup truck home instead of having to worry about take a tractor home or a combine home altogether. So that adds even more realism. I'm really excited for when the West Coast map will start. Did it again. I hate how it automatically lowers the head as soon as you pick it up. It's ridiculous. I mean, do they not think anybody puts heads on trailers? Okay. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. If I am, please let me know. I don't know what I could be doing wrong there, though. Okay, so let's get this ready to go, and then we'll just run back to the farm. We'll go to bed a little bit early, maybe play some Pinochle with the wife. There is actually a variation you can play with 2 players. It's not very much fun, and yeah, 3-player, you really need 4 players to play Pinochle. Anyway, so maybe we'll have another couple over and we'll play some Pinochle. Or maybe we'll run outside and play with the dogs. Anyway, until next time, let's just lower the head to get rid of the hydraulic pressure there. And okay. Bessie has been a good combine, and I look forward to operating Bessie on the West Coast. Bessie really wants to go to the West Coast. That's what she told me when we were harvesting here. She said that I really want to go to the West Coast. I like this map, but I really want to go to the West Coast. That's what Bessie said. Anyway, all right, let's book it back to our farm. And this is one of the nice things about having a pickup truck. Will alleviate. We don't have to run quite so much. So, you know what? While we're here, maybe we should look at the corn a little bit. I think it looks pretty good. Pretty good stand, and pretty clean. No fungus or anything. We've got a few ears. You know, that's weird. Normally the ears would be, you know, somewhere visible there, not hidden behind the. I don't know. Is this the default corn model? It kind of looks almost like I don't know. like a big leaf, like a palm tree or so. I don't know. Anyway, let's just head on home to the Bout Du Monde home. Little cottage that we have there by the stupid chickens that won't ever shut up. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. And maybe we'll do a time-lapse next episode. Maybe not. You never know. But we will definitely keep Courseplay going. I think that we have figured out a lot of the problems that Courseplay has caused. So, as always, thanks for tuning in. It really does mean a lot to me, and thanks for putting up while I learned Courseplay. See you guys soon. Until next time, have a good weekend. Bye-bye. This is actually Monday's episode, so yeah. Have a good week. It would be better. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Good night.